Welcome back to Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic Known Classics. This is episode number 2193 and Doubleshot number 2087. Now, I have a lead Super-Heroes trade to talk about and some issues in a trade for New Mutants. I'm not sure the cover up because I do agree with Lynn Carr with this one. Yeah, calling it the Great Dark. Basically, I'm discussing the Great Darkness Cycle by Paul Levitz and Keith Giffen. Because, of course, they said to spoil who the Great Darkness is on the cover. I'll show it because people see it already. It's Darkseid. Yep. This book covers a lot of issues. And oh boy, it does. It collects issues 284 to 296 of Legion of Super-Heroes and the first of 3 annuals for the series. Your writer is Paul Levitz. Your artist is Keith Giffen. The other artists are Pat Broderick, Howard Bender, and the late Carmen Infantino. The cover is done by Keith Giffen, Al Mogram, and Drew R. Moore. Yep. The Great Darkness itself is basically just a 4-part. Now, originally, this is like 2 separate trades. Look at my line, looked like this was like 2 separate trades, and apparently are missing issues. But apparently, these decided to just do like a complete edition of this, collect this whole entire year worth of comics. So pretty much in the way, like, a bit of a disagreement between Wildfire and Sunboy. Yeah. So basically, they agree come on as reservist. Like, yeah, Block himself basically going back home because his plane was phased up against the tours. They have to deal with alien attack here. And we also do see another wedding in here. Yes, another wedding. You're thinking which one? Also, for some reasons, Saturn Girl wearing this pink outfit she's wearing for like over a decade at this point. She decides which costumes in the storyline. Yes, for some reason, switch costumes. And there's stuff here with Colossal Boy taking out these ships by himself in 385. Yep. Yeah, Monel, basically time to shine here. Princess Projectra, basically just deal with stuff at home. And they have some boy basically deal with arch nemesis Dr. Regulus in 286. Also, Superboy officially rejoined them. He basically officially rejoined them as a member of the team. But they have to keep under the 25 member limit because of tax purposes. Yeah, then of course basically like Princess Projectra basically becoming a queen. Oh yeah, she gets married, alright. And yeah, basically this fighting tournament going on here, which is interesting from 387. 287, excuse me. Now, if you're curious, the Great Darkness stuff doesn't begin until like, I think it's like 390. Like 290, yeah. Then we have stuff with Shadowlass and Monel, who become an action couple later on. Then you have Karate Kid basically with Princess Project, and he's trying to free himself, and of course he fights his way out. Now the thing is, he had become powers that had part of leads to this, but he had basically fight his way onto the team. Of course, fight more monsters. Karate Kid basically do his best here. Actually, it's not Price of Projector. It's actually Dream Girl. Yep. Yeah, we have more cults. We have basically like Timberwolf. Oh yeah, and also here's something. We have Southern Girl is here wearing her previous costume in 289. Why the world they have her switch costumes after basically wearing the pink outfit since the late 60s? Don't know. If I get a chance to make Keith Kevin, I'll basically ask him that. Like, why the heck would we switch this for? We have more of Block here in Dawnstar. And then it comes to the annual. Yes, first like 3 annuals this book had, because after the third annual, I don't think they had another annual after this volume afterwards. I think like next annual came out like with the very next volume. Yeah, I'm thinking this volume only put out like 3 annuals. Yeah, I think it was just 3 annuals. Actually, it was 5. But I think it wasn't in 4 and 5 reprints because, let's see. Yeah, it looks like 4 was a reprint, and 5 is a reprint. Okay, yeah, it's a reprint of another series annual. Yeah, so basically, when I get a chance to review the next Stray Curse, which I do 2 comic cards from now, that'll be the end of basically the annuals when it comes to Volume 2. Yep. Alright, so it's just an annual for Cosmic Boy and various other characters. With other things. Just a lot of good stuff here with Legion. I believe there's our wedding coming in here soon, yes. And then we have 290. Basically, it's the start of the Great Darkness Saga, which concludes with 291, which is an excellent story arc, which builds up like who's the Great Darkness, which ends up being Darkseid. Is there like major deaths in these issues? No, not particularly. No, not that I know of. I don't think so, no. Let me take a look here. I don't think there's any major deaths in these issues. No, I don't think so. We do appearance of Oil 3 Green. Who didn't appear very much, but as for deaths in this storyline, not really. But this basically is the start of this epic story arc, which concludes with 294. Yeah, remember 294 is like the conclusion of this thing. But this is just a really good epic story. If you want to get a full detail, like full review of this thing, watch Sankara's review of this thing, because it is really good. And concludes with basically 294, with Lightning last leaving the team. We do kind of a death per se. It's a clone of Orion, but not really much basically something there. But it is definitely a really good story arc. We do have one of our first appearance here, Olivor, who becomes lead superheroes after this one. Oh, lead to villain. Okay. And he appeared for like a dozen times after this one. Like after this issue, he appeared for the opening issues for was Volume 3, an annual, an issue of GSA, well, Volume 3, and Final Crisis 3 Worlds, and that is it for him. Yeah, not big of a character, but yeah, this trade here is awesome. I give this book a 10 out of 10. It's just really good. Yep. Alright, next up we have is, so we can open this up here. Here we go. Now we're going to do something interesting now. We're going to talk about basically we're discussing first issues 32 to 34 of Mutants, which are actually were collected in Mutants Classic Volume 4, which I've decided just to do these 3 issues individually. Mainly because the fact that, well, why many of you Volume 4 for just for 3 issues? Yeah. Now these issues in particular basically it's just basically just 3 issues done by Chris Claremont and Steve Laria. It's mostly the Mutants basically just going on vacation for a few issues. That's mostly put exactly what these issues are. And they're slowly trying to find out what happened. Of course, they kind of already found Karma. Oh yeah, they also work with Storm in these 3 issues. Yep. Storm of the X-Men. You're thinking, wow, the Mutants got some heavy hitters basically teaming with them. Yeah, we're like going crazy in issue 33. There's a party going on here. It's almost like these are kind of like slow down-ish issues per se. Just so I guess you have claim that Warlock goes out of control, but not really not crazy. I mean, it doesn't start killing people per se, but it is interesting. Of course, you have just a lot of hanging out, and of course, Storm basically just being with them. We finished up with issue 34. Which features basically like magic. They say she betrayed a team, and of course, well, she's not really a traitor. Yeah, and this basically is a very good book? Not necessarily. Yep, but as for the 3 issues in particular, I give this issue basically a 9 out of 10. Next up we have is Mutants Classic, Volume 5. Which collects, I think it was like 35 to 40. And I believe also the special edition. Yes. Yeah, the special edition is basically where I pick up here. We have Storm basically in her 80s garb, where she has this registers in leather, has the mohawk. There are some people who fans do like this look for Storm. In book, Kitty Pryde called her a monster. All because she trimmed her beautiful hair to a mohawk. Yeah, and the whole thing of special edition is basically New Mutants encounter with the Guardians. The Guardians. Yeah, and Karma basically, we have her deal with her weight issues because her being possessed by the Shadow King. Yeah, and she's going to be trying to lose some weight. Yeah, Karma is usually picked as very beautiful, but this is basically one of those times where she isn't because she was possessed by the Shadow King. And the whole thing with special edition is that we have Storm basically getting herself a hammer. Becomes sort of basically have power similar to the King of the God Thunder. We have Doug Ramsey, who is encountering Hela. It's mostly, you get to get this issue as the New Mutants meeting the Asgardians for a whole one shot, which I thought was really good. And then we continue with X-Men Ann number 9, which is basically part 2 of the story. Yep, it just basically, the X-Men basically have teamed with the New Mutants for this one. It's a brief crossover between the two of them. It's a quick 2-parter, then we finally move on to the actual issues themselves. I found the whole X-Men, Mutants, Asgard stuff to be really fun. Does fake news as a whole? A little bit, not much. Now, in the case 35, we have sort of a game changer with these issues. We have Magneto becoming the mentor of the New Mutants. And this is the start of his tenure. Also, we have new artists. We have Bill Sienkiewicz coming back at the artwork here with Mary Whitwisher as a co-artist. The Magneto was trying to redeem himself. Of course, Roberto obviously calls him for his fact he was a villain. But he's changed. And he wants to find a way to earn her trust. Yeah, this comes right after the events of, I think it was Uncanny X-Men 200, where he's trying to change his ways. And this basically is him doing it. And then we have basically in issues 36, I think let me take a look here. Come on, seriously, no. It kind of started issue 30, but and if you're curious, there's a radio issues of this book basically deal with Secret Wars 2. Not really. It's mostly Kitty Pryde's encounter with the Beyonder. Yeah, he appears in this issue as a guest star. And he's a weird character, he is. Now you might be thinking, does he appear for the mini issues of this trade? I don't think he does. Actually, no, he does, which is interesting. Yeah, it's mostly him encountering the New Warriors, which is like supposed to kill him off and then bring him back, like within like a couple issues, and of course them calling the Hellions. They seen briefly when the book gets briefly retitled, the Hellions, issue 39. Let me show off the cover here because this cover's been spoofed a few times over the years. Yeah, the Hellions basically were stuff related to Emma Frost. Yes. Even when she was part of the X-Men, she basically formed the Hellions as a trainee squad. Yep. After with the Hellions, then we have a crossover with the Avengers, and, well, mostly put just Cap. And that's it. Yep, that's it for that one. Yeah, I gotta admit, these issues were really good. I give, basically, this trade here a 9.5 out of 10. Yep. That's gonna be pretty much a particular view. I gotta get going soon. I'm gonna go see a movie. So, catch y'all later for the next comic book. Bye.